There's a few rumours going around, or little hints coming from like Valve employees and things, that maybe they would consider something like an international style tournament. Do you think something like that is a good idea? And will it increase viewership and player base to the point that we're as big as Dota?
So that's a question I love talking about.
I saw a comparison of graphs. Dota is out since like 5 years, 6, I don't exactly know. And it showed a graph that was going like just slowly at the beginning and then going like up crazily in the end.
Yeah.
They compared that with CSGO. So like it was like following the path of Dota, which is extremely big at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good thing.
You're definitely seeing the streaming numbers continue to rise, and that's vital. That shows that there's an audience willing to watch the game. The player base in the game continues to rise as well. That's vital. So all signs point to the fact that what they're doing works.
One of the things I don't like doing is looking at where a game is now and saying, can we get there in the future? I feel like the foundation of esports is changing really quickly. So if you're just looking at what someone else is doing and saying, we're going to set a goal to get to their level, we have to grow independently. And it's great taking hints from the other games and seeing what they do well. In case anyone hasn't figured this out yet, that's exactly what Valve are doing with DOTA2. They're saying all the stuff that works in Dota 2, let's put it in Counter-Strike.
With like skins and things that are helping like more casual players.
Right. You've seen that Valve have now supported their third major for $250,000, and that they've done the online stickers that have gone for the teams for Katowice. They did the stickers that support the Face It event. So everything that they've dipped their toes in CS has worked. So the question is, are they ready to jump in like they did the same with Dota? They dipped their toes in with the first compendium and it's like, oh, this really works. Let's go for it.
On the other hand, for the international, Valve has been talking about that. Like they were like, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't it work? Everyone was very hyped about it, but in my mind I was like, it's just talks, it means nothing at all. Like we don't know nothing that's going to happen. It's a possibility.
Now the one thing I don't want to see, and everyone always asks me, would you like to see an international for Counter-Strike?
Okay.
Yes, but not if it comes at the cost of giving up the major tournaments.
They can't just copy and paste what they've done in Dota for CS. So these smaller, i.e. $250,000 events, have worked well because they've been able to pace them out, pick the events that have worked well for it.
I would like us to have something like 3 sized, around 250,000, if more than great, but it doesn't have to be much more than that.
Yeah.
And then one major event to cap it off, like one major, super major if you want.
Yeah,
that could be like an international event, right?
Well, so the first thing they need is stability. Like this random, we don't know when the next major is coming along, is really bad for the teams planning kind of, because these teams do have other things on that they want to go and do, it's not kind of like a full-time sport yet. Be even better to build that narrative that's like you've got 3 events that lead into a final, and the final's got the disproportionate prize purse, and you need to perform well. Each one gets you some form of qualifying points, some form of online route to get into that as well.
It kind of cements it for the players then at the beginning of the year.
That way, you still keep everything else alive, and no one cannot go to the other events. I really love watching Dota. I think it's a great game, but the problem is that I only care about the international. If I want to find out who's the best, I go and watch the international, and the rest of the year I have to really force myself to keep up with individual tournaments.
It could happen in the international on Counter-Strike. That would work. I think it would improve the game player base, like way more players watching and playing, because the international, I never played Dota in my whole life. I still watched the game because I was like, the money, the fame, whatever is going on.
I watched it in my living room with my family, and then we watched free to play straight after the final.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't play Dota either. Like I don't play anything.
Exactly. Like it gives hype no matter what.
The one problem you've got with CS that you don't with Dota is that it's much more regionalized.
League of Legends and Dota and all those, they're really popular in Asia as well, where esports is massive, whereas Counter-Strike and FPS games is not so big over in those areas.
CS doesn't work in Asia, doesn't work in South America. We don't know if it works as a spectator event in the US yet. And you've only got limited countries in Europe where you're guaranteed success. Sweden for sure, Poland, Germany I'm assuming will do well, France does well for SBC.
They need to try and target, maybe try and get in Asia involved.
And that's massively important, and that's something that Valve, I think, have to do. The way to do that is to make the game free to play. If nothing else, then make it free to play for the Asian region.
The worry that people have when you speak of free to play everywhere else is that just cheaters everywhere.
Yeah. It's the same thing as when people say, well, if you legalized drugs, then everyone would be on drugs all the time, which is self-evidently not true.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, we're not all just going to start hacking because now it's free. Is there anything else you think Valve could do to CS as a game that could encourage more viewership and player base?
They've done a great job on the viewership side. They've integrated into the Twitch directory. They've got the stream numbers in the game. So that side, I'd say they're doing really well. What they could do from a competitive standpoint would be much similar to what they've done in Dota. Is they've allowed the teams to have other revenue streams, like more in-game items. It's more of a self-serve model. The ticket system, all of those types of things. Just allow people to make that little bit more money. That makes it all that more viable.
The main thing for, I think, a lot of people, including myself, is this is like a hobby rather than a job. And for these top teams, it's a job. They get paid, they get salaried, they get free gear, they get houses to live in. It's extraordinary. You don't expect it, but it happens for them. And I mean, in the UK, it's really hard for anybody to pump that sort of money into a team like trying to do well. And I think that's the breaking point for the game.
In Dota, there's less of a need for money because you've got bigger organizations, bigger streaming audiences, and there's a bit more money in that game.
In League of Legends, LCS, they get their money from that. That's where they get their salaries from.
CS does need all the help it can get because it's still a fledgling pro scene. Just seen Cloud9 come in, but still don't have an EG. There's still a few of the big orgs just sat kind of lurking. They don't have to provide the money themselves, Valve. Yeah. They could just, this is what they've always been really good at doing, is just creating the routes for other people to make money in the game.
Like League of Legends always makes money. Like they make the money because of the skins and stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as CS reaches out and people start seeing all the forums, like threads on Reddit and all that stuff, even like all the League of Legends players play CS, so on like the TSM and stuff, they all play CS.
And Counter-Strike is a game that everyone is playing. I mean, I know that a lot of Call of Duty players that are competing at the highest level are watching the game almost like trying to see how we think to the game, and it shows that everyone is into Counter-Strike, like a bit, or at least watched some or played some.
Our channel came from Call of Duty PC, for Pro Mod. And so the last couple of years we've been doing a lot of videos with the Call of Duty Xbox guys. And you're right, so many of those guys now we have on Steam and we're playing like matchmaking with and stuff. And even the guys who are in Epsilon now who are still in like looking to possibly win.
Yeah, I mean, I talked with like some of them. They were like just aside. I don't really follow the code team, and they're like, "Are you in a fan? Yeah, good job, man. Yeah, cool." Yeah. You too.
They love CS. It's a shame for me actually that it's so small still, CS, but showing how big it's grown from a casual point of view, like with skins and everything. It's still a shame that in the UK we can't fill all those seats. But I think that is going to change soon.
It's only going to improve. Like CS is really going big. In Poland, when we were in Poland in Katowice, the stadium was full. It was insane.
I think we'll see a growth sort of across the board,
that's 100% sure.
Which will be good.